Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to give you some listening practice, and I'm going to use some pictures to do this. So let's have a quick look at what the pictures will be. Picture 1, picture 2, picture 3. There's a saying in English that a picture says 1,000 words. And I think the pictures that you've just seen, they do say 1,000 words. But I don't think this is strictly true. There are some awful pictures. What about this picture? This picture says nothing to me. So I think, to be more accurate, some pictures say 1,000 words, but not all. And how are we going to use these pictures? Well, first of all, I will describe what's on the picture. So you can listen and look at the picture and think, what am I saying? So link those words to what you see. Second, I will tell a story kind of connected to the picture. Okay, the first story will be short. The other two are a bit longer. And then I'm going to pick out chunks which I think are associated with those pictures. Okay, so let's go to our first picture. Our first picture, what we got? The two main characters in the picture are two women. They look quite young. I think they're probably in their 20s. I'm not sure whether they're in their mid-20s or their late 20s. What do you think? If you've got a better idea, you can put it in the comments. Obviously, they are good friends. And okay, let's give the woman in the striped top. So this is the striped top. Let's give her a name. She looks like a Jill to me. Okay, so this is Jill, and she's sharing the secret with her friend. And her friend, let's have a look at her face. Her friend looks like a Sarah. So Jill and Sarah. So Jill is the one sharing the secret. And look at Sarah. Look at Sarah's eyes. They're lit up. So normally women can do many things at once, but when you look at Sarah, so she can't even drink and listen. So she's just listening here. And her eyes are wide open. So she's paying a lot of attention to what Jill is saying. And Jill, she'll be just describing them. So Jill has, for me, I think she has lovely hair. It's wavy. And I like how the waves curl down her cheek. She's got a round earring as well. And around her neck, she's got some kind of scarf. And her friend, Sarah, okay, you can see she got a ring on her finger and she's holding a coffee. Oh, it looks like a coffee. It looks like a cafe latte or something. Okay, and she's listening very intently. If you look at her hairstyle, it's very different to Jill's. So her hairstyle is just straight, comes straight down. So personally, I prefer Jill's hair to Sarah's. I like it. I like a little bit of curliness. And you wouldn't believe it when you look at my hair now, but when my hair is longer, it's actually curly. And when I was young, it was very curly. So I had it long and it just goes like this. Okay, back to the picture. Back to the picture. Okay, so they're sat down at a table. There's an ice cream on the table. Jill is sharing a secret with Sarah. Sarah is loving it. I'm very curious to find out what this secret is. And they seem to be sitting in some kind of cafe. Judging by the lighting in the background, I think it's an indoor cafe. Although they look like they're outdoor. But the lighting tells me that it's indoor. So I'm not quite sure whether it's outdoor or indoor. If you have an opinion about this, feel free to put it in the comments below. Okay, so let's get to the story. What is the secret that Jill is sharing with Sarah? What is it? What do you think? This is what I think. I think Jill has been asked out at work, and she's been asked out by a guy called Derek. Derek is from sales, and he's asked her out for a date. And he's going to take her to the Ritz Hotel. So the Ritz Hotel, just in case you don't know, the Ritz Hotel is a very posh hotel in the center of London. So if you go there, you can have cocktails, you can have afternoon tea. I went to the Ritz about 20 years ago, and even at that time, to get a cocktail was about £18. So I would guess now it's about £30. It's going to be a lot of money to get a cocktail there. An afternoon tea, I've never done that. I'm not so interested in afternoon tea. Anyway, back to the story. Okay, so she's telling Sarah that she's been asked out on a date. And it's Derek from sales that's going to take her out. And Derek is this tall, handsome, dark man. Looks very strong. So she's very pleased about it. And she's looking forward to her date. Let's get some useful phrases that we can use with this to set the scene. So with pictures, or when you're telling a story, you can use this phrase to set the scene. So with this picture, I could say, oh, I'm going to tell you the story about Jill and Sarah. Let me set the scene. They're sitting in a cafe. They're talking, like women can talk. So they're talking about this, they're talking about that. And then comes the moment that Jill's been waiting for. She's been waiting to tell Sarah about her news. And she's going to share a secret. So we come up to our next phrase, share a secret. So if you got some great news, or in some cases some bad news, you have a secret and you want to tell someone, you can share it. So here, Jill is sharing her secret that she's got a date with Derek, and she's sharing it with her best friend, Sarah. Okay, so to share a secret. And with this picture, you could also say, oh, to gossip. To gossip, so that maybe she's not sharing her own secret, perhaps she's talking about someone else. So she might be saying, oh, blah, blah, blah in sales is doing this. I hate her for doing that. So she might be gossiping about someone else. And maybe in this case, perhaps she's not sharing a secret, but maybe she's talking about someone that's close to them. Maybe she's seen the waiter and he's very handsome, and she just wants to tell Sarah that, oh, she thinks this waiter is amazing. And she wonders what he would be like in bed or something like that. Okay, so that's picture number one. Let's go on to picture number two. So first, I will describe the picture for you. It's a picture of a city, and it's a picture at what's called dusk. So it's after sunset, the sun's gone down, and it's dusk. And when you got dusk, it's not completely dark yet. But for me, personally, I think this is one of the most beautiful lightings you can get. So you got this like royal blues in the scene. Yeah, so it's taken maybe about 10, 15 minutes after sunset. And it's off a river. So you can see the river, and you can see like light streaks on the river. So this tells me that perhaps the photo, when they took the photo, the shutter was open for about 3 or 4 seconds. That's why you got the light streaks on the river. Okay. Over the river is a bridge, and it's lit up. So it's lit up in a white color. And then behind the bridge, you have many tall buildings, and it creates something that's called a skyline. So it looks like a business area, and one building stands out, and this building is a little bit deceptive because it looks a bit like the Eiffel Tower, and the Eiffel Tower is in Paris, but this city is not Paris. So it's like a copycat of the Eiffel Tower. Okay, and it's lit in a golden color. Okay, so you got your skyline, and then you got the sky. Does anyone know which city this is? Okay, I will tell you. This is Tokyo. So this is Tokyo at night, and the picture is taken of the river in Tokyo. I don't know what the name of the river is in Tokyo. Tokyo River, of Tokyo River, and part of the city. If you know the name of the river, just please tell me in the comments. Now, the story. And this is the story of Jim proposing to Claire. Okay, so let me set the scene. Let me set the scene. Jim and Claire were on holiday, and they went to Tokyo for this holiday. And this, for them, this is like a dream holiday. They've always loved Japanese culture. They've been into manga for years and years. So this was something that they've been planning for 2 years. And finally, they were there in Tokyo. So one evening, Jim wants to take. So one evening, Jim takes Claire to the river. He wants to show her this wonderful view of Tokyo at night. Well, it's not quite night yet. The sun is coming down, and it's an amazing view over Tokyo. And you can see the lights on the building on the other side of the river, and they're starting to sparkle. They both feel romantic. They both feel moved by the scene. The air, which was warm in the day, is starting to cool down. And if you were there, you will feel this coolness on your skin. But Jim was feeling hot at this moment. He was feeling hot. He had sweat forming on his brow, and his heart was beating fast. He felt tense because he had a big mission. He had something very important to do. And he took his hand, he went in his pocket, and he felt something hard, something smooth in there. It was a ring, and he felt the ring. And as he felt the ring, time stopped for him. There was no time. He went back in time, and he remembered the first time he saw Sarah sitting there in a cafe, talking with her friends. And he thought, God, she's beautiful. Then, some moments later, no, not moments later, some days later, was their first kiss. And he felt her warm lips on his lips. And then many other memories. And then every memory that he's had with Claire flashed before his eyes. It was everything. It was totality. It was amazing. But he was stuck in time. Then he felt a nudge, yeah, like this. It was Claire. And she said to him, I'm talking to you. Why aren't you listening? And then he turned around, he looked at her, and he had the biggest smile ever. And he just said to her, Claire, will you be my wife? And he pulled out a ring and put it on her finger. And that's the story of how Jim proposed to Claire. Okay, so what useful phrases can we use with this picture? A bit deceptive. So in my introduction, when I was talking about the picture, when I was describing it, I talked about the Golden Tower, and I said that was a bit deceptive because it looked very much like the Eiffel Tower. So I think when a lot of people see this picture, they think, oh, it's Paris, but it's not Paris, it's Tokyo. So that's what a bit deceptive is. So you look at something and you think it's something else. But what other useful phrases do we have here? Well, this is a question, actually. Have you ever been to Tokyo? Oh, in other words, have you ever been to Tokyo? If so, when did you go? And if not, would you like to go there? So my answer, have you ever been to Tokyo? No, unfortunately, I've never been there, but I would love to go. I love big cities, and Tokyo is the mother of all cities. It's the biggest city in our world. 30 million, 35 million, I don't know, just lots and lots of people. So I would love to go there. And I also fascinated by Japanese culture, and I think I find it exotic because Japanese culture is just so different to European culture. So that's why I would love to go to Tokyo. Okay, so let's go to the next picture. So this is our last picture, okay. And this picture is inside a flower shop. So we have three people in the picture. So we have the shop assistant, and she's got a pen and notepad. So she's taking an order. She's taking an order from one customer. And because it's a flower shop, it's probably about flowers. Okay, and there's another customer in the shop. Oh, she looks like a customer to me. Okay, and there's lots of flowers here. And the main colors are yellow, white, and red. So the red ones are roses. The white ones are also roses. And I don't know what the other ones are. Maybe daisies. Let's get to the story. The story. This is about my friend Jack and how he met Sean. So there was Jack, and he was walking down the street, and he had this problem. He had this problem because tomorrow was going to be his nan's birthday. And I see a problem there because I said nan, and maybe you don't know what I mean. So nan, in the UK, a lot of people refer to their grandmother as their nan. So especially people in the north of England or in Wales. In Scotland, I don't know what they say. Oh, my nan. Something like that. I don't know. But, okay. So let's get back to the story. So there was Jack, and he's walking down the street. He's got this problem. What do I get my nan for her birthday? So he's walking, and it's 10 minutes gone by, then it's 20 minutes, and he seems to be a bit lost in thoughts. But none of these thoughts are helping him. He hasn't come up with an idea what to get his nan. And he would love to get her something because his nan is very special to him. So he carries on walking, and then he turns a corner. And there he saw his answer. It was a beautiful flower shop. They had flowers in the front, and there was many different colors. And he thought, bingo, my problem is solved. So he crossed the road, went into the shop, and it was a blaze of color and scents. The smell of the flowers was floating in the air, and he felt a little bit overpowered by the inside of the shop. And he was looking at these flowers, and he's like a typical man. I know some men are very good with flowers. They know exactly what flowers to choose. If they're buying for their nan, if they're buying for their wife, if they're buying for their girlfriend, they know exactly what to choose. But Jack didn't. He didn't know what to buy. So he was a bit stunned, a bit confused by all the colors and that scent that's flowing in the air. And then, like a voice of an angel, he heard the voice of an angel. And it said, can I help you? And he turned round. And then, not only did he hear the voice of an angel, he saw the face of an angel. And he's looking in to angel's eyes. And he couldn't say anything. He was He could only smile. And she said, do you need any help? And then Jack, his brain eventually clicked in, and he said, oh, yes, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a bit lost. I'm looking for something for my nan. Sean? He didn't know her name was Sean at the time, but Sean asked him some questions about the nan, and then She said, I got the perfect idea for your nan. She's going to love these flowers. And she grabbed some red roses, some white roses. She grabbed some other flowers as well. And she managed to create this beautiful, beautiful bouquet. It was the most beautiful bouquet that Jack had ever seen. But his thinking was a little bit different. He had been struck by love, and everything looked beautiful. This, especially this bouquet of flowers. Sean said, "Oh, that's £10." And Jack paid, and he left the shop, and he walked, but he felt strange. He felt conflict within inside him. He wanted to go back to the shop, but he couldn't bring himself to do it. So he walked 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then 20 minutes. And then something strange happened. He heard a voice in his head. It was the voice of his nan. She said, "Be brave, my boy, be brave." And as soon as he heard this voice, he stopped. Then it happened again. "Be brave, my boy, be brave." And he turned around and he headed back to the shop. And he had walked for 20 minutes, so it took him another 20 minutes to get back to the shop. And then he saw the shop, and he was in front of the shop, and he stopped again, thinking, "I can't do this. I can't do this." But the voice came back, his nan's voice. "Be brave, my boy. Go in. Be brave." And he went into the shop. Sean turned around and she saw Jack. And she thought, "Oh, there must be something wrong. Why is he back?" And she said that. "Oh, is there something wrong? How can I help you?" And Jack, with starry eyes, just looked at her and said, "Nothing is wrong. I just want to ask, when are you free? When do you finish work?" And Sean, "I finish work in 30 minutes. Okay, I just want to ask you one question." This is Jack speaking. "I just want to ask you one question. I want to take you out somewhere after you finish work. It could be a cafe, it could be a bar, it could be a restaurant. Tell me where you would like to go, and I will take you there." And Sean was quite taken aback. And she went, "Wow, wow." So she said, "Okay, let's just meet at 5 o'clock, which is in 30 minutes. So let's meet in 30 minutes. I will think about where I want to go. I will tell you then, and we'll go there." And so 30 minutes later, Jack comes back, still with his bouquet of flowers, the most beautiful bouquet of flowers ever in his eyes. And he met Sean, and they went to a cafe. They had some coffee together, and they clicked. And they told each other little stories about themselves. After the coffee, there was wine. So they went to a bar. They had some wine together. But during the trip from the cafe to the bar, Jack had somehow managed to lose this most beautiful bouquet of flowers. And he was distraught. He was going, "Oh no, what am I going to give my nan tomorrow?" And Sean just looked at him and said, "Look, it's not a problem. I know exactly what flowers your nan wants. I will make it tomorrow morning. Give me your nan's address, and I will make sure she receives those flowers tomorrow." And that was how Jack met Sean. And they're still together. But it's not only two of them now. There are four of them. There's also little Rihanna and little Gareth. Okay, so let's get to some useful phrases. Take an order. So you see in the picture the girl in the flower shop, the shop assistant who's wearing an apron. She's taking an order from a customer. In a flower shop, you can take an order. What other places can you take an order in? Any ideas? Okay, you can take an order in a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, you tell the waiter what you want, and they take your order. They take orders in a cafe as well. And suppliers take orders. And let's use the example of a flower shop. So sometimes a flower shop can be a supplier. They're a supplier of flowers. And maybe a hotel, let's say the Ritz in London, will make an order at a flower shop, and the flower shop will take the order and send the hotel some flowers. So those are examples of take an order. Okay. Also with the flower shop, the word, so it's not a phrase, it's more like a word, anniversary. So a lot of anniversaries are celebrated with flowers. So maybe the most common type of anniversary is a wedding anniversary. And important wedding anniversaries are first year, the 5th year, the 10th year, the 20th year, the 25th, and so on. So a lot of people like to celebrate their wedding anniversaries with flowers. But companies can also have an anniversary. So maybe it's the 100th year of the company. And events, like historical events, can also have anniversaries. So when was it? I think in 2020, it was the 75th anniversary of the end of the Second World War. In your family, is there an important anniversary coming up? Is it someone's wedding anniversary? Okay. Another useful phrase that this flower shop triggers in my mind, to surprise someone. So in the story, Jack wanted to surprise his nan. And it's very similar to surprise somebody is to make someone's day. When you make someone's day, you make an ordinary day special. So for instance, if any of you are similar age to me, you might say to your kids, Nan's feeling quite lonely at the moment. Why don't you buy her some flowers? That will make her day, and she'll feel remembered. So that's it for now. I think this is a very long video, so let's finish here.